Hello, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst with Money Markets, here with your Bull and the Bear podcast. I want to make sure that you are checking out our website, moneymarkets.com. It's kind of our hub for all safe and sound investment information for you. We post stuff on there each and every day. Chief Investment Strategist Adam Odell, Green Zone Fortunes editor Charles Sizemore, and myself, the rest of our team, we work very hard each and every day to make sure you're provided with the best information to bolster your portfolio. So when you check out the website, also make sure to sign up for our free daily e-letter. Every day of the week, even on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, you get an email that has the content that we've created for you that can help bolster your profile, your portfolio rather. Just make sure you go to moneymarkets.com and sign up for that free daily e-letter and check it out each and every day. Now, on with today's podcast. Now, my grandfather, I love him. He's been an inspiration to me for all of my life. He's 89. He lives in Atlanta. He just recently moved from Kansas to Atlanta after the passing of my grandmother a few years ago. And with the move, he's found some extra time on his hands, and that's not uncommon. I mean, it's fine. He likes to do a lot of things, and when I visited him in December, I learned that he was occupying his time by creating a family tree, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I've always kind of been enamored with that kind of stuff, with genealogy and things like that, but I just never really had the time or the patience to really get into it. Now, my grandfather's a former engineer, and he's very precise. He's very detailed. And a few weeks ago when I was talking to him by phone, he told me he's got about 8 books of information dating back to the 18th century. I mean, that's just a wealth of information that he's been very detailed and precise in getting to trace where the family comes from. Now, I've considered buying one of those kits that you see advertised on television that basically takes a small little vial of your saliva, tests it, and then gives you results and tells you all these geographic regions that you came from. And I just never really pulled the trigger. I didn't really find that much of an interest in it. I just didn't. But you know me, I like to research. So when I was actually looking into testing my heritage, and by the way, my family mostly comes from either Ireland or Switzerland, I was introduced to the world of genetic testing. And this testing goes well beyond just establishing the geography of where you came from. It's not all about just finding out my family came from Central Europe or something like that. You see, the study of genetics is the study of our building blocks, our DNA. And yes, you can determine things like your hair color, eye color of what's dominant, what's recessive, all those types of things, but it goes a lot deeper than that. Scientists use the study of the human genome to help actually develop treatments and vaccines to cure or curb illnesses. Now, you've probably heard how genomics and genetic testing has helped large pharmaceutical companies develop vaccines for the coronavirus. I mean, that was a foundation of that. You take certain genes, you work it against databases, you test them, and you find out potential cures for various things. And so I took that a step farther just recently, and I used Adam's 6-factor green zone ranking system, and I actually found a company that's at the forefront of genetic testing. And it's one that's going to outperform the broader market by at least 3 times over the next 12 months. And I'm going to tell you about it here in just a bit. But first, I want to talk about the genetics market and how it makes good financial sense to invest in it right now. Genetics and genomics have really boomed because of the coronavirus. It's not necessarily a great thing, but it is a market factor. Pharmaceutical companies scramble to develop a vaccine, and stock prices of these companies have followed suit. We've talked about it here before. Now, if you look at the Genomics Revolution Multi-Sector ETF, it trades under the ticker ARKG, you can see a steady climb. The exchange-traded fund focuses very heavily on companies that are at the forefront of genomics and genetic testing and therapeutics. And the ETF has jumped 353% since hitting a low in March of 2020. So in that short a time frame, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months now, 353% in its stock price. And while genomics has got a pretty good boost because of the race for the coronavirus vaccine, I see the trend holding. I think pharmaceutical companies are going to continue to look into genomics to find new cures for other diseases and ailments. It's not just going to stop with the coronavirus. Now, as I said earlier, in order for doctors and scientists to develop these new medicines and these new therapies, they have to be able to test. They've got to be able to test DNA. They've got to be able to test the human genome, and they've got to be able to take those tests and work them against a database of other genomes and other DNA. It's just part of the process. It's a long process, but it is an essential part of it. Testing the human genome can give breakthroughs to develop new therapies for cancer and other uncurable diseases that we think now are just beyond our reach. And using Adam's six-factor green zone rating system, I found a company that's right there. It's right at the forefront of it. And it's called Fulgent Genetics Incorporated. It trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol FLGT. Fulgent Genetics. It's a California-based company that provides genetic testing services to physicians, hospitals, clinics, things like that. But it's gone beyond just tests. Fulgent uses extensive databases as well as algorithms and adaptive learning software to test that DNA. It's also partnered with PWN Health to provide an at-home coronavirus test. This is also very much on the forefront of where testing has become in terms of DNA and genomics. Now, it's a company that's really taken off in the last 5 years. In 2017 and 2018, the company's revenues were relatively flat, $18.7 and $21.4 million. However, from 2019 to 2020, those revenues jumped 903% to around $326.2 million. That is a huge jump. And looking ahead, the projection for Fulgent Genetics revenue is to be more than $600 million, an 83% jump from 2020, and a 1,746% increase from 2019. That's coming this year. That is huge. That is a huge revenue increase. And not just even in just 2 years, looking back 2 years, but even the jump from 2020 to 2021 is massive. And Fulgent stock has actually followed suit. Since hitting a 52-week low of around $6.75 a share in March of 2020, the stock price has vaulted 1,815% to where it is right now. That climb is impressive, but I think Fulgent has even more room to grow. And to reinforce this thought, I took a look at Adam's six-factor green zone rating system and to see just how strong Fulgent is. Now, it ranks a 90 overall, and that means only 10% of all other stocks that we rank are higher. It also means that we're very strong bullish on the stock, and we believe that it's going to outperform the broader market by at least 3 times over the next year. With phenomenal sales growth, the company ranks a 99 on growth. It follows suit with a 93 in quality. Now, looking at that Fulgent stock chart, it clearly illustrates the company's upward trajectory in terms of stock price, and that helps the company earn a score of a rating of 92 on the momentum metric. And momentum has come with very little downward movement. It's been very consistent in its upward rise. That gave a volatility score of 80. Remember, the higher the volatility score, the less volatile it really is. It's also got a very nice beta to factor into that as well. The company does get hit on size, but of course it's got a $3 billion market cap. So there's really not a whole lot you can do about that. And its price to earnings ratio right now is around 68.25. So it does appear to be somewhat overvalued. But then again, I would say probably 98% of the stocks being traded today are overvalued in some form or fashion, and a lot of them are way more overvalued than Fulgent. But I don't think any of that should really stop you from giving this company that's on the leading edge of genetic testing a look in your portfolio. So I really think Fulgent Genetics, FLGT, is one you really want to take a look at. Now, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this as a traditional audio podcast, just go over to youtube.com, search for Money and Markets. We've got the green bull and bear logo. Just click that, make sure you subscribe, and then hit that notification bell. You get notified each and every time we release a new video. Now, if you're doing it on the other side, maybe you're watching the video and you want to listen to us as a podcast on your smartphone or on your tablet or anything like that, you can do that as well. We are on a ton of podcast syndicators: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, 20, 30 podcast syndicators we're on right now. And make sure whatever podcast syndicator you're using, you subscribe to the podcast, give us a review, and let us know what you think about the Bull and the Bear podcast. Now, also, if you do have any questions on a particular stock or maybe a sector that you'd like us to look at, do so. You can email me directly at thebullandthebear@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll put that email address right down there so you can copy it down. It's thebullandthebear@moneyandmarkets.com. I'd love to see what your feedback is and what you have to say. Now, also, again, head over to moneymarkets.com, sign up for our free daily e-letter. In it, we give you safe and sound investment information each and every day. So make sure you are onto that and check that out if you are not. Coming up, we've got Money and Markets Chief Investment Strategist Adam Odell, Green Zone Fortunes Editor Charles Sizemore, and I are going to bring you 3 stock buy recommendations coming up this weekend on our second Bull and the Bear podcast of the week. So make sure you check that out. Also, the marijuana market update comes out and our week ahead as well. So make sure you're getting all that great information to you as soon as you possibly can. Until then, this is Money and Markets research analyst Matt Clark, host of the Bull and the Bear podcast, wishing you all safe trading.